At this point, there's the preliminary hearing. And as I've discussed before, this is when the Commonwealth has to prove that they have a prima facie case, meaning that there is on the face that there is enough evidence to take this to trial. After the preliminary hearing, the information is filed. So that is a list of the charges, and it's the official charges from the DA's office. At that point, after that, there's a formal arraignment that is at the common pleas level. And just to go back a little bit, in the preliminary hearing, the district judge will either send it to the common pleas court or decide that it shouldn't go any further and dismiss the charges. So then there's formal arraignment, and that is very, a lot of times we will have our clients just waive formal arraignment because they just read the charges to the client and some of their rights. That's really a formality. Then after that, there's criminal call of the list. In different counties, there's different days that this occurs, so that is very county specific when this happens. There's a pretrial conference. Again, this is very dependent on the county. Some counties, it's always the Thursday prior to the trial terms. Some counties are different. Some counties have just a pre-trial conference day. Then there's either there's a trial or a guilty plea. And there is either a jury trial or a non-jury trial. So if it's a jury trial track, then there's jury selection process. The jury trial would happen. If it's a non-jury trial, obviously you're just going to be scheduled in front of a judge. If it's a guilty plea, then the defendant will have their guilty plea scheduled. And again, this is county dependent. Sometimes they'll just do individual guilty pleas. That's also dependent on the case. Sometimes there's a guilty plea hearing day or time. So this is all county specific. And after either being found guilty at a jury trial, found guilty at a non-jury trial, or entered a guilty plea, there is the sentencing. And then also, if it's a more serious crime, usually, or definitely for felonies, but more serious misdemeanor crimes, there will be a pre-sentence investigation done by a person that's trained from probation, and that just gets a lot of background on the defendant for sentencing purposes to provide to the judge and the defense attorney and the prosecutor. So finally, there's the sentencing. And then obviously after the sentencing, you have the appeal process. So that's all I have. Not all I have, that is a lot to discuss. And I, again, will go over each of these steps more in detail in videos to come.